From then on, Jesus began to point out to his disciples that he, Jesus, must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders, chief priests, and scribes, then be killed and be raised the third day. Okay, so Peter claims that Jesus is the Messiah. And Jesus says, yes, you're right. You didn't come up with that on your own. God did that for you. But yeah, you're right, right? So that was like the, that boy, you got it. Correct answer, right? So then Jesus says, look, but don't tell anyone. And then from that point on, he's saying, look, I'm gonna be suffering, guys. I'm gonna be suffering. I'm actually gonna be killed innocently. I'm gonna be killed, and then I'm gonna be raised on the third day. Okay? My reaction would be like, what? Verse 22. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. Oh no, Lord, this will never happen to you. Okay, just a word of advice. Don't tell God what will and won't happen. Right? So what's saying here is like Peter's like, no. Takes him aside, right? And says, God, that will never happen to you. But yeah.
So rebuke means like say the opposite, like or whatever.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Argue.
Yeah. Rebuke, kind of bring up, and kind of say, kind of have some confrontation with it. Oh no, Lord, this won't happen to you. But then he turned and told Peter, get behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me because you're not thinking about God's concerns but man. Okay, so just several verses ago, Peter's the one who nailed it and was like, you're the Son of God. You're the Messiah. And then verses later, Jesus is saying, get away from me, Satan. Okay, any confidence this bro had is over. It's out. Like, it's so amazing how awesome Jesus is because he, like, shuts him down. And then he goes on to say, look, you're worried about your own concerns, not about God's concerns. And the reason why he said that is because, and this is the whole, going back to the Old Testament, kind of stay with me here. In the Old Testament, the Messiah, the Redeemer, the one who was going to save, was going to be portrayed. The Jews thought, this is kind of the whole division we've talked about, the Jews thought he was going to be a king and royalty and people were going to bow down to him. But they didn't read in the verses like Isaiah 53:5 when it says he will be pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquity. They didn't read that. And so, or they might have read it, but they might not associate it with Jesus being the Messiah. So Peter, he says, Lord, that's not going to happen to you. You're not going to suffer. You're not going to die. Because their mentality was, he's going to be royalty. He's going to be respected. He's going to be king. He's not going to go through that. You're the Messiah. You're not going to go through that. Jesus is saying, I am. You're wrong. And you're just worried about your own concerns. He's worried. He doesn't want Jesus to go through that. But he's worried about his own, not God's plan. And how many of us is that? We're worried. My hand's raised. We're worried about what's going on in our lives. What we think 5 minutes from now, or 20 minutes from now, or Thursday of this week should bring. How we should receive love. How we have our own mentality about things. And when it doesn't go that way, we look back and we're so selfish because we realize, okay, it wasn't supposed to go that way. It was God's way. And Jesus is like, look, get away from me, Satan. I mean, that's Satan. That's the deceiver. Just the adversary. I think that's the original meaning of that word in this is adversary. It's the one saying something, the temptations in your ear that come through that is not right. And sometimes you just have to say, away from me, Satan. And guys, and you guys might not be there yet, but if you get there at the point, it is a very, very powerful thing when you're worshiping God or you're fellowshipping with people and you or someone with you rebukes Satan. And I know that, that's weird. No, it's biblical and it's very powerful because Satan hates Christians. He doesn't care about you guys at all. He hates you. He wants to destroy you. He wants to defile you. And so that's his objective. Okay, moving on. 24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone wants to come with me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life because of me will find it. So does that mean Jesus wants us to go outside here, get trees, make a cross, and carry them and follow him? No, that's not what that verse means. What he's saying is, look, what Jesus is going to go through, Jesus hasn't died yet, guys. They don't know the crucifixion of the cross for Jesus is coming. Though, back in this time, crucifixion practice happened a lot. And in fact, they used to hang people on busy roadways to send a message. So when people were coming in towns, they would see dead bodies hanging on crosses, or live bodies, almost dead, hanging on crosses as a sign, as a symbol. So they understood crucifixion, but Jesus doesn't understand that, or Jesus is saying that, and these disciples are, wait, take up your cross, like Jesus hasn't died yet, right? And it's so funny about sending a message or sending an example. My dad, get this, guys, and I can say this on tape, I don't care. My house, within the past 2 years, we've had a bad mouse problem. We don't know what it is. We've just had mice. My buddy gave me a couch. I think that's where it came from, but I'm not going to say that, but I think it is. And they were in our basement, then they were upstairs, and they were downstairs. And so this happened 2 days ago. My brother moved out. We're cleaning up stuff. I'm moving stuff. And I found a mouse trap with a dead mouse on it. So I'm like, Dad, we caught one. He said, yeah, it's been down there a couple months. I was like, I said, you knew there was a dead mouse on this trap? Now, mind you, dead animals don't smell good, right? But mice are small, so it's not a bad smell. I'm like, Dad, why did you keep it down there? He's like, as a warning for other mice. I'm like, Dad, that doesn't work like that. They don't see their buddy dead and say, I'm going to run the other way. I don't want that to happen. Maybe. But in this case, it's serious, true story. I threw it away. I was like, I don't play it.
Or maybe they're thinking, well, that trap's already sprung. I guess I'm free now.
Yeah, very, very, very possibility. I don't know how mice think, but in this case, people were hanging up on crosses
Their
as a
brains
sign.
are the size of this. Okay?
Not.
I don't think they're going to be that small.
Okay, so moving on. So what will benefit a man if he gains the whole world yet loses his life? Or what will a man give in exchange for his life? For the Son of Man is going to come with angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will reward each according to what he has done. I assure you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. A lot there, okay? A lot there. And we're going to go over this Wednesday night because I went on a tangent at the beginning. What Jesus is saying there is he's saying, look, you can gain the whole world. You can have all these possessions, have all the money, have all the girls, have all the guys, have all the parties, have everything. But what do you gain from that if you lose your soul while going through it? If you have all these possessions and end up in hell, what's the purpose? Well, let's think. Okay, let's say you live 70 years. Let's say 50 of those years, 30 of those years, you had all those possessions, had all this wealth. What's that compared to eternity, burning, suffering every single day? There's no comparison. Yeah.
I don't know if it like comes later in the Matthew or what, but in 27, for the Son of Man is going to come with his angels and glory of his Father. Is that talking about the second coming, like when he comes back?
Yeah.
Is that later on in Matthew?
Yeah, and that's a good question. And that's why verse 28 says, look, there are some of you that won't even taste death. And what that means is, look, you guys, death, and this is what I was portraying Wednesday night, there is no sting in death anymore. I don't know, it was out of Corinthians, I don't know if you remember that. It says, oh, death, where's your sting? Oh, death, where's your victory? If you're in Christ, if you believe in Jesus, you don't even taste death. You don't even experience death at all. And the whole YOLO, who's heard of that? You only live once? Not true. You live twice. You live once on the earth and then once in eternity. So what Jesus is saying is, look, and when the Son of Man comes, some of you guys, and notice he didn't say everyone listening. He didn't say everybody. Some of you will not experience even the taste of death when Jesus comes back. And that's the whole, well, were they thinking he was going to come back during their time then, and that's why they weren't going to die? They weren't going to age and then die, and so that's a whole another story. And so that's why some of you guys one Wednesday night said, okay, well, what happens? Do we die? Do we go in a place, or are we just? Someone said, are we just waiting with like black picture in our mind, like an empty room with no windows, and just like waiting on Jesus, like every day, just like miserable. Okay, waiting. Am I a Christian? You know. And that's a whole nother story for another time. But Jesus is clear that if you believe in him, you're not even going to taste death. Not even going to taste death. Not even going to experience it. And two more things, and I just want to wrap this up. But like I said, Wednesday night we'll hit this again hard. Is for whoever wants to save his life will lose it. Will lose his life if he wants to save it. What Jesus is saying is, look, you guys are given a life. It's a blessing. It's a blessing you have life. It's a blessing you're breathing right now. You're given life. Okay, what are you going to do with that life? Are you going to just worry about it and just keep it to yourself and be selfish? Because here's the thing. You didn't give yourself life. You didn't say, how old are you?
13.
You didn't say 14 years ago, I want to come out in a year.
I said 13.
You didn't say that. You didn't plan when you were going to be in this world. None of you did. God has plans. God knows his plans, right? God's not looking down right now and saying, hey, what's Andrew Bishop doing out there? He wasn't supposed to pop out till 2015. That's right. Nothing surprising God, okay? So with the life that you've been given, you can either lose it for the glory of God, surrender your life that's not even yours, surrender your life to Jesus, to the glory of God, and live it for him, or you can save it for yourself, worry about yourself, and lose your soul in the process. So there's a line there, guys. There's a line there. And something that I love about Jesus is listen, guys, listen, folks, everyone look at me, is Jesus loves you. Okay? Listen. Not to give you the Sunday school answer. Jesus loves you, right? But hear me out. Jesus wants a personal relationship with every one of you. Jesus wants you guys, listen, Jesus wants you guys to be boys. He wants you guys to be close. Okay? Hear me. You guys, we can read Matthew, and I love how we're doing this. We're reading these chapters by chapters, and we could get all this knowledge about God. And I can go to seminary and these seminary conferences and know all this theology and eschatology and all these big words that you guys don't even know what I'm saying. Like I can know all that stuff, right? But, and this is something I said at the very beginning when I started here, but it means nothing to obtain knowledge if knowledge is not applied through a relationship, through some form of intimacy. And hear me out. Here's what I'm saying. Is that if I told you guys that the Heat have won 10 straight games, that LeBron is doing record number of things right now, that his favorite drink is Mountain Dew, when he goes to Applebee's, he gets the chicken tender platter with honey mustard, ranch, and Chipotle mayo on the side, with 2 forks and 1 knife. And every Thursday night, he goes with Mario Chalmers out to a club that he part owns and buys 1 table a meal. Every Thursday night, he does this. And then I tell you that him and his parents have a wonderful relationship, and that he actually sees his sister every Tuesday and Wednesday night. If I tell you that knowledge about LeBron James and give you guys all this knowledge that I know about him, does that mean I know him? No. So does that mean I know all this about him, but does that mean that LeBron James cares about me? No. So these people we idolize, these musicians, these artists, these celebrities, we idolize and know all about. People can spit out lyrics of them, spit out what they do, what they like, whatever. That whole thing about LeBron, by the way, I made up, besides the 10-game winning streak. But I convinced you guys, okay, I know him. I know about him, right? So we can know about Jesus. Okay, yeah, Peter was one of his guys. He said, yeah, he was the Messiah. Jesus said, take up the cross and follow me. So you guys can read, and as we keep reading, we're going to learn more about Jesus. Okay, he's going to die. He's going to raise from the dead on the third day. We can know, keep knowing, but we know about him. We don't know him. Right? But here's the difference between celebrities and all these other people and Jesus is he does care about you. He wants to know you. And forgive me if I'm wrong here, guys, but you guys probably will never have a personal relationship with LeBron James. You guys won't. Jesus, on the other hand, you got the opportunity. He's there. You got the opportunity. So we can know about him, which is great, but my prayer would be that we know him. We know him, and he knows us, and we have a relationship. Because he already knows the hairs on your head. He knows it. He knows your name. He knew you guys were going to be sitting in this room at this time right now. He knew that. He knows you.